Virgo, I want to describe the quality of it before anything else, before the person, before the jealousy, before any of the details, because the quality of it is actually the most important thing. The thing that distinguishes what's coming from things that have come before that looked similar on the surface but weren't. It has weight to it, real weight, the specific gravitational quality of something that isn't casual, isn't passing, isn't the kind of thing that arrives, creates a brief intensity, and then dissipates, leaving you wondering what happened. What's moving towards you has permanence built into its foundation, has the texture of something that was constructed carefully rather than assembled quickly, has the specific feeling of something that intends to stay. And I want to be precise about where that permanence comes from, because it's not just about resources, though resources are part of this picture, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. It's about the specific kind of person who has built something real, who has done the work in the domain of their external life to create stability, and who is now, for reasons I want to describe carefully, turning their attention, their full, substantial, this is how I approach everything attention toward you. Let me start with you, because this reading isn't primarily about wealth or marriage or the jealousy that's swirling at the edges of your life right now. Those are all real, all present, all worth describing. But the reason any of this is happening, the reason this particular person is moving towards you, the reason certain people in your orbit are reacting the way they're reacting has its root in you, in something specific about who you are that I want to name before anything else. You carry yourself differently than most people. And I don't mean that in a superficial aesthetic sense. I mean something deeper than that, more interior. There's a quality you bring to how you exist in the world, a combination of precision and warmth, of high standards and genuine generosity, of knowing exactly what you're worth without needing to announce it. That is genuinely unusual. Most people either know their worth and perform it loudly, or they know their worth privately and undercut it publicly. You do neither. You simply are it. And that quality, that specific, unperformative, entirely consistent quality of someone who is exactly what they appear to be at every level, that's what attracted something significant. The person, I want to describe who this is in terms of their quality rather than their resources, because I think leading with resources misses the more important thing. Though I'll come to the resources, they're real and they matter, and I'm not going to minimize them. But first, who they are, someone who built something, not inherited something, not stumbled into something, not rode a wave of timing or luck into a position of material stability, built through a combination of vision and discipline and the specific kind of work ethic that doesn't announce itself because it's too busy producing results. And what building something real, genuinely, from effort through difficulty does to a person is significant. It produces a specific kind of discernment, a refined ability to distinguish between what is solid and what merely appears solid, between what has integrity and what is constructed to give the impression of integrity, between real and performed. This person has that discernment, and they've applied it to you. And what they found was real. Hold on. Because there's something specific about how this person encountered you that I want to try to describe, the specific moment or period where the attention shifted from general awareness to something more focused. They noticed something others missed. Not your most obvious qualities, those were visible to everyone in proximity. Something more specific, something that required genuine attention to see. A moment, possibly unremarkable to anyone else watching, where you did something or said something or simply existed in a certain way that revealed a quality they weren't expecting. The precision of your thinking, maybe? The specific way you handle a complicated situation, not by simplifying it, but by moving through the complexity with a calm that comes from genuine competence rather than performed confidence. Or the generosity, the specific, unannounced, nobody asked you to quality of care you extend to people and situations around you. The way you treat people at every level of a room with the same quality of attention, that thing you do without thinking about it because it's just who you are, that someone with genuine discernment notices immediately. Or the standards, not as a barrier, as a statement of self-knowledge, the specific Virgo quality of someone who knows what they bring and therefore knows what they require in return, who doesn't settle not from arrogance but from an honest accounting of the exchange. Whatever the specific moment of seeing, they saw, and what they saw made them decide something. The wealth. I want to address this directly because I think it deserves to be talked about honestly rather than spiritually varnished. This person has significant resources. Not just money, though. Money is present and substantial. Resources in the broader sense, access, opportunity, the specific kind of abundance that comes from someone who has built, not just financially, but in terms of their capacity to create quality in their life and in the lives of people around them. And I want to say something about what this means for you that might be different from what you'd expect. It's not about being taken care of, though that's part of it, and it's okay to acknowledge that being with someone who has genuine stability is a different experience than being with someone who doesn't. That part is real and you don't have to pretend otherwise. But the deeper thing, the thing I keep finding when I sit with what this connection is actually about, is partnership. This person doesn't want someone to impress with their resources, has been in that dynamic before and found it hollow. Doesn't want someone whose interest is contingent on what they can provide, has enough experience and discernment to know the difference. They want someone who meets them, who brings something of equal substance, not necessarily financial, but genuine, real, the kind of interior wealth that can't be purchased, that comes from character and intelligence and depth of feeling and the specific quality of someone who has lived their life with integrity. That's what they found in you. That's the exchange this is built on. There's an image that keeps coming and I want to share it. Two things of genuine quality existing in proximity to each other. Not one elevated thing and one ordinary thing, two substantial things. And the specific quality that emerges from their proximity is not the elevation of one by the other. It's something new, something that neither produces alone, a resonance that only exists when both are present. That's what this connection is building toward. Not rescue, not transaction. Resonance. Two people who are genuinely, substantially themselves, who have each built something real in their own domain, discovering that the combination of what they are together produces something neither has encountered before. That's the foundation of what marriage means in this context. Not a legal arrangement, not a security acquisition, a recognition, two people looking at each other with full visibility and saying, yes, this is the thing. Now, the jealousy. And I want to approach this carefully because there are people in your orbit right now who are reacting to what they're sensing, what they're seeing or suspecting or perceiving in the way your life is moving with an energy that is not benign. And I think you deserve to have that named clearly. There are people watching you specifically, with attention that isn't loving, with observation that is tracking your movements, your connections, your developing circumstances, not out of genuine interest in your well-being, but out of something more complicated than that. Envy with teeth. Let me describe what this looks like concretely, because I think the abstract word jealousy doesn't fully capture the specific energy I'm picking up. Someone in your life, possibly more than one person, possibly someone you consider relatively close, has built a significant part of their identity around a comparison with you, around the belief, conscious or not, that they should be ahead of where you are, that their version of life should be further along than yours, that the universe in its proper functioning should be distributing things in a particular order, and you receiving something significant disrupts that order in a way that feels to them like a personal affront. It's not about you at the root. It's about them and their relationship to their own life, their own unmet expectations, their own private accounting of what they deserve versus what they've received. But it's being directed at you. Wait, because there's something specific about what this person or these people are doing with the jealousy, and I want to try to describe it because it's not just an internal feeling they're managing privately. It's becoming behavior, specific behavior, the kind that's designed to be subtle enough to maintain deniability while still doing damage, the kind that operates through narrative, through what gets said about you in rooms you're not in, through the strategic sharing of information or misinformation, or the kind of carefully framed truth that leaves a misleading impression. They're trying to manage the perception of you in the spaces where you're not present to correct it. And the reason this is particularly relevant right now, the reason it feels urgent, is that the stakes have increased. Whatever was visible to them about where your life is moving, whether they've sensed the incoming person, or sensed the shift in your circumstances, or simply sensed the specific quality of someone whose moment is arriving, the stakes of their jealousy have risen. And higher stakes produce more aggressive behavior. The more I sit with this, the more I keep finding something specific about who this jealous energy belongs to. It's not a stranger. This is someone who has had genuine access to your life, who knows things, who has been trusted at some level with proximity that strangers don't have, which makes the jealousy more complicated, more painful when you fully recognize it than simple envy from a distance. This is someone who smiled at the right times, who said the right supportive things, who performed the role of someone in your corner well enough that you didn't look too closely at the performance, but the performance has been cracking. Under the pressure of what's coming for you, under the weight of a jealousy that has been intensifying as your circumstances improve, the management of the presentation has become increasingly difficult. You've probably already felt something, not full certainty, but a flicker, a moment where something said or not said landed slightly wrong, where a response to your good news carried an energy that didn't quite match the words, where you found yourself feeling vaguely worse after an interaction with this person than you felt going in, without being able to point to exactly why. That flicker is accurate. There's something I want to say about how to handle this particular energy, not with confrontation necessarily, not with the dramatic move of calling it out directly, though there may come a moment where that becomes necessary. And if it does, Virgo is extraordinarily equipped for precise, clear, devastating directness when required. For now, with strategic visibility, what I mean is be aware of what you share, with whom and when. not from paranoia, from the specific Virgo intelligence that knows the value of information management. Some things that are developing in your life, some things that are moving, building, approaching those things don't need to be shared with everyone, don't need to be made visible in spaces where the audience isn't trustworthy. Protect what's growing, not because you're ashamed of it, because new things are vulnerable, because certain people, when they encounter something good that belongs to you, don't wish it well. Let it develop in protected space. Share it when it's strong enough to withstand the weather of other people's reactions. I want to say something about the marriage energy specifically, because I think it's worth addressing directly rather than treating it as a footnote to everything else. This is serious. What I keep feeling when I sit with the incoming energy with the person and the direction this is moving has the quality of something that intends to be permanent, not in the pressured, rushed way of something that is performing permanence. In the specific, grounded, I have thought about this fully way of someone who doesn't move toward things lightly, but when they move with intention. This person moves with intention, and their intention, what keeps coming through when I sit with where this is going, is toward something lasting, toward building something with you, not because they need someone, because they've found someone specific. And specific people, when you've developed the discernment to recognize them, are not interchangeable. You are not interchangeable to them. That's the quality of this. That's the foundation the permanence is being built on. There's something about what this connection is going to give you that goes beyond the material, though the material is real, and I want to acknowledge that again because I think it matters. There's a specific freedom that comes with genuine security, not freedom from responsibility, not freedom from the ordinary complexity of life, freedom from the specific low-grade anxiety of someone who has been managing things largely alone. Who has been the person in their own life who makes sure things are okay? Who has carried the weight of their own security through sustained individual effort without the experience of someone genuinely sharing that weight? That sharing is coming, not as rescue, as partnership between equals. And what becomes available when you're not carrying everything alone, the specific creative and emotional and simply human energy that gets freed up when the load is genuinely shared, that's going to surprise you, is going to reveal capacity in you that you didn't know was being suppressed by the weight of the carrying. The last thing, there are people watching your life right now with jealousy in their eyes. And there's a person moving toward your life with something entirely different. The jealousy and the love are arriving in the same window. And I think that's not coincidental. I think the jealousy is, in its own backward way, confirmation. Because people don't envy things that aren't real. Don't track with that kind of intensity something that isn't worth tracking. Don't feel that kind of threat from something that isn't genuinely significant. The jealousy is the shadow cast by the light, and the light is what's coming for you. The substantial, stable, genuine, intends to be permanent light of someone who found you with their full discernment operating and decided, without equivocation, without hedging, without one foot already pointed toward the exit, that you are exactly what they've been looking for. Let that land, not the jealousy, not the noise from the people who are reacting to what they see coming for you. The light, let that be the thing you orient toward. Everything else is just weather. And you've proven through everything you've already navigated that you know how to move through weather without losing your direction. Keep moving. The destination is closer than it looks.